Last week I uploaded a response video to Nvidia's claims that they had recreated the photo of Buzz Aldrin descending the lunar module ladder and disproved the conspiracy theories. In summary, I showed that the albedo settings used in Nvidia's software had been upped way too high, much higher than the albedo of the lunar surface, and that the light reflecting off a second astronaut standing away from the LEM would have had minuscule effect at best. I challenged Nvidia to show us what albedo settings were used. They have so far declined. Needless to say, this video has received a lot of feedback from both sides of the fence. But perhaps the most interesting feedback comes from one of Nvidia's own customers, who answers to the name of Bo Chen. He forwarded me a letter of complaint that he had sent to Nvidia and specifically gave me permission to republish it. These are his exact words. To whom it may concern at Nvidia, I am a paying customer of Nvidia's graphic card products. Recently, I purchased a new GTX 980 in part due to advertising and claims made by a public Nvidia blog in reference to Nvidia's corporate article, How Our Maxwell GPUs Debunked the Apollo 11 Conspiracy Theory, updated with video, published by Nvidia on September 18, 2014. It is my understanding that as a matter of convention, it has traditionally been the case that Nvidia would release to the public free downloads of these demos in ready-to-use installer binary format in accordance with the debut of the relevant video cards in which these new technologies have been showcased and advertised. As a consumer, I hold Nvidia to the reasonable standards of consistency that any consumer would hold any respectable company. While I found the Nvidia Maxwell GPU moonhoax debunking demo and the accompanying article to be a bit disingenuous, as it's my understanding that it was never actually necessary for the advent of the GTX 980 to come along for the scientific or graphical debunking of the hoax theories, because there was never really any self-imposed requirement for Global Illumination to be rendered in real time on consumer-grade graphics card hardware. Nonetheless, part of my purchasing decision rested on the fact that Nvidia, on its own volition, actively chose to showcase the new GTX 970/GTX 980 by making a moonhoax demo and giving the general consumer the reasonable expectation of being able to themselves test out the demo in real time using the same Maxwell technologies as the GTX 970/GTX 980 graphics cards that they purchased from Nvidia. While I could easily render this scene myself in 3ds Max without the GTX 980, here, real-time, is the essential distinctive differentiator that Nvidia is pitching and selling to its consumers by publishing the moonhoax debunking demo. Specifically, due directly in part to my desire to test out the Global Illumination demo in the aforementioned Nvidia reference articles and demo, on or about Friday, September 26, 2014, I did indeed purchase then and there a EVGA GeForce GTX 980 graphics card at Fry's Electronics Store number 19 on 102 East 120 Arlington, Texas, 76018, in the amount of $579.99 US, before tax, The serial number of my GTX 980 is serial number with the corresponding PID number and UPC. As of this moment, Nvidia has not delivered, nor has it made available a public download of the Apollo 11 conspiracy theory demo for its GTX 970/GTX 980 customers to download and test out themselves, both in terms of the claims that Nvidia's graphics cards helped debunk the moonhoax theory and the claims of its effective real-time rendering of Global Illumination based on its voxel-based (VXGI) technology. On October 8, 2014, I contacted an Nvidia support representative identified only by the name of Farzana via chat support channels, and he or she was unable to give me any answer or response to my relevant inquiries. The technician was only able to state that the case will be escalated to the so-called L2 support team, but with no other indications of a ticket number, reference number, support number, or a contact information or any ETA of any sort. I find this disturbing and unacceptable for several reasons. Firstly, as a consumer, I do not believe it is a good corporate policy for Nvidia to get itself involved in politics, nor to take upon itself the mission of debunking so-called moon conspiracies. In my opinion, that should be left solely to organizations such as NASA and/or NIST, or the US government itself. and that it is not the proper nor appropriate place for a maker of graphics cards company in the tech gaming industry to alienate (inadvertently or otherwise) a certain portion of its consumers by disparaging their belief of the historical accuracies of certain past major events. Secondly, to then choose to actively withhold (for whatever reason) and not publish the demo to the paying consumers of the GTX 970/GTX 980 cards simply adds insult to injury, and makes the whole thing smell that much more fishy and hypocritical. There is not a matter of national security nor a classification concern, and there is ample video evidence out there in the public showing that Nvidia already has a working demo of the Apollo 11 scene rendered in real time on the GTX 970/GTX 980 using the new VXGI technology. So there is no reasonable excuse for withholding the demo from the public for extended periods of time. Since Nvidia was the one who chose to get itself involved in so-called conspiracy theories, then it is obligated to either provide evidence (the demo in downloadable form), or apologize for its statements if it cannot do so. While I cannot speak for the rest of the consumers, I can definitively state that for myself, a major reason that I purchased the GTX 980 as opposed to a lesser card, or the card of another vendor for example, was due to the advertising of real-time Global Illumination on the card/hardware level and the pitch by Nvidia of being able to download, install, and try out the so-called debunking of the hoax demo myself, in real time, using the VXGI technology on the GTX 980 that I recently purchased. Furthermore, I believe that in an effort to avoid the appearance or perception of misrepresentation, impropriety, or otherwise false or misleading advertising, that Nvidia should make it a priority effort to publish and make available a download for the Apollo 11 conspiracy theory demo in a prompt and reasonably timely manner. And if, for whatever reasons, it cannot do so, or if Nvidia later decides not to publish the demo at all, that Nvidia should make a prominent public announcement stating those decisions, and that it will not release the demo to the public, and or Nvidia should then recant and withdraw the so-called debunking article, and also tender a public apology for its statements, in which it attempted to discredit alternative explanations of the historical events surrounding Apollo space missions. I look forward to our response and reply. Thank you in advance for your cooperation. Very sincerely, Bo Chen. I would like to thank Bo Chen for coming forward with his formal complaint. It seems Nvidia owes it not only to their subscribers, but also to their paying customers to prove that their Global Illumination software is indeed what they say it is. From my chair, the fact that Nvidia has actively refused to release the software to their consumers indicates to me that they have something to hide. It is becoming increasingly obvious that the Nvidia team knowingly set the albedo settings way too high, tried to pass it off as 7 to 12% albedo, and are now withholding the software from their customers in an attempt to save themselves from refutation. How pathetic can your position be when you come under fire not only from your critics, but also your own paying customers?